Hold on a second. The one right in the middle was on Facebook. There was no cover. I just threw that cover on there. They have a new cover actually. But there was just the way you see it. And this one, believe it or not, like I said, I didn't get this from a scrapyard. So you would think this is what continuation on it. I just hooked up my gas and I got multiple fuel leaks. So I got to fix that before I try to start it and run it on gas. I'm going to change the rubber gasket here. It's very brittle. And take it from there. Can't have fuel leaks. Okay, here we go. So I took the gasket out. It's very stiff. It's like a poker chip. So I went to my stock and I got a new one here, or slightly used, very pliable. That's another thing too. And you have to clean the face, if not replace the fuel pump. If you're lucky, the fuel pump works. Sometimes it's 50-50. But if you don't replace it, you want to clean the plate here too real well with a wire brush or even a razor blade. So this way the rubber seals against the metal surface on this side and against the attachment connector here. Okay, so I'm going to put that in there and see if it still leaks. And we'll see what happens from there. I had to replace my connector too. O-ring was leaking. So I did that. I ended up changing the plate. Not the plate, the connector. Because it was, no matter how tight I made it, even with a new gasket, it was still leaking. I did clean the plate on the fuel pump itself with a razor blade and a wire brush, and replaced the poker chip hard rubber gasket. Now let's see if it starts. I got it pumped up. No gas leaks at the fuel pump. No gas leaks at the connector. Let's see what happens. Here we go. Come on, water pump. Come on, water pump. Sounds pretty good. Let me take the thermostat cover off real quick and see if anything's coming up there. But it looks like the got a water pump issue. Okay, only ran a few seconds there. It sounded pretty good. Well, again, the bottom line is nobody wants to fix them. Nobody has the ambition, so that's that's their destiny, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, let me get that thermostat cover off. So here I got the thermostat cover off. I did take it off when I first got the motor and there was no thermostat. But what I like to do is just throw it out there. Maybe that will do something. You put your hand over the exhaust on the midsection and it'll back feed the air down to the staircase. Another little tip. But these motors are notorious for having blocked passageways between the power head and the midsection. So it could be that, just a bad pump. So let me try to start it again after doing that. See what happens. Oh, did I push the choke back in? I didn't. Listen to that. Is that unbelievable or what? I think the fuel pump's no good, but I'm not sure. Sometimes he'll come back, and I can't run it too long with no cooling. So. Let me put some more water in it because it's a long shaft. I'm above where the pump is, but I'm going to go a little bit higher. But I doubt that's what the deal is. So I'm filling it up a little bit higher, and we'll try it again, and I'll bring you back. All right, so no luck. So I'm going to be pulling the power head off, which is a good thing because, like I said, the passageways between the midsection and the power head are notorious for getting salted up and clogged up. Could be that, or just the impeller and the pump itself. But that's where we're at now. I wanted to get it running in water. That's the next step you really do. You make sure it pumps. You always want to make sure your water level is above. You can see here, this is a long shaft, but you want to make sure the water level is above the bottom one on a long shaft because that's where the pump is. So, and if this was a short shaft, you'd want the water level to about where my finger is. I see a lot of people running these things on YouTube, just don't know that, and they're not pumping water and they don't realize it, that their water level is too low. But to the next step, I think I'm going to probably do the water pump first because that's quicker. Okay, and then I'll bring you back. It was into the gear case. Three of the screws were almost all the way out, and only one was tight. And the rod still works with the vice grip on the side of the motor for shifting up and down. And so just a handle replacement, so that's good. And the shifter wasn't even hooked up. So you actually could have hooked this back up if somebody probably just popped it off and lost interest. But it has the plastic conversion water pump housing on it, which I like, with the small 9915 style impeller. So that's a good thing. Now, chances are they might have just pulled this gear case down, put it back up, and they didn't stake the copper tube inside here. It's probably the reason why it's not pumping. But what I'm going to do is put a rubber hose on the existing copper tubing inside, going up through the midsection to the power head, blow air through it, make sure it comes out the thermostat cover, and that should be good to go up there. If it doesn't, then you got blockage between the midsection and the power head, like I was mentioned before. But that's good. You know, taking apart things, sometimes you get rewarded. You know, the original housings were aluminum and they corrode, and they're expensive to replace if you bought one today. Anyway, I'm gonna work on this. I will check the oil in the gear case. I want to make sure it shifts, and we'll see what happens. Okay. Here's another trick I forgot to mention. You can do this. A lot of you Sharpies know about this. Probably a lot of you non-Sharpies know about this. You can hook a drill to the drive shaft, and you can test the flow of water that way. Now, I'm going to hold it just so the outlet on the water pump is just above the water level. Hold on to it good, especially if you got a good torque drill. So you can see we're pumping water. I'm still going to inspect the impeller while I have it apart just to make sure. It's probably good, but it's always good. If you go this far, you might as well go a little bit further. Okay, so just another little tip. If you got a drill with at least a 1/2-inch chuck. Okay. Before I put the water pump back together, I did take it apart. Everything looks good, but it's stuck in neutral. There was no oil in the gear case at all, but it's like brand new inside. So the shift rod is frozen where it goes through the bushing on the opposite side, alongside the water pump housing. So I'm going to work on that and pull that and get it all freed up and put it back together. I did pressure test it before I took it apart. Again, there was no oil in it at all. It's dry as a bone. Just the way you see it. Like very clean. But the rod is stuck. Okay. Normally you wouldn't have to do this if you bought one of these motors. A good thing to do is always, if you're going to buy a used motor, make sure it shifts forward, neutral, reverse, and check the prop. It will save you a lot of headaches. This doesn't happen too often, but it does happen. Okay? So here I took the shift rod lever out. That was frozen. Wire brushed it, and I greased it all up. I'm going to put it back inside the gear case. This is why the upper shifter broke, because it was so stuck below where it goes through the bushing. And the O-ring down in here is probably one reason why the motor was taken out of service. And then I noticed the gear set on it. Now the forward gear and the clutch dog, there's absolutely no wear at all on the clutch dog ears, the reverse gear, and the forward gear. There's no shiny spots, there's nothing. So I'm assuming they went ahead and put a brand new set of gears in here. It might have been done years ago when they weren't too expensive, but I did price this stuff just to get an idea. About $300 for the reverse gear, the clutch dog, and the forward gear online. So either way, somebody invested some money years ago and put all brand new gears to the clutch dog in this 6-horse Johnson. So another really good find. So, and it didn't take much to free the bar up. And I'm not going to change the bushing, the O-ring. I'm not going to change it. I'm not going to change the prop shaft seal. I'm not going to change the water pump seal underneath the drive shaft seal underneath the water pump, because the pressure tested good. All I'm going to change is the spaghetti seal. I have a whole roll of it. So I'll put a new spaghetti seal. So, moving along. Pretty cool. This motor's going to be seaworthy pretty soon. Okay. Guts back in. I see so many gear cases that people forget to line up this notch with this pin, and they end up putting together, tightening it up, and they flush the pin out. The pin keeps this outer race from spinning. The front's pretty simple. You just have the tang on the bottom of the seal housing there. That goes in here. So just kind of put everything in position. You want to make sure you got that lined up. This here I kind of spin. It's down into the pin. And same here. The tang is into the casting, the slot in the casting. And that's it. But very common. People forget about that pin. On a few occasions, I've actually drilled them out and replaced them. I'm pretty sure it's the same pin as the pin that drives the water pump impeller. But just be aware of that. So now I'm going to put this new, I'll get my new spaghetti seal. Here's the old one. And I'll put some of my favorite sealant I use. Permatex. Not too much on both sides first. Then I put the spaghetti seal. And I will leave it about 1/8 of an inch longer than it has to be on this side. So kind of like seal up nice and tight against the O-ring here. And that's pretty much it. And I'll hook up my pin. Once this is all back in, I got the 6 screws in there. I'll put my pin in there. And that pin, if I can find it, I actually don't see it. But that pin has a little small gasket on it. I'll put a little sealant on that too. And that, once this is on upside down, of course, you line up your clutch fork hole. Most times it'll line up itself. If you're not, sometimes you got to take a little punch inside and go in there and move it left, right, or up or down, whatever it takes. And then you put the pin back in. Put oil in it, tighten everything up, and you're all set to go. Okay. Everything gopped up, ready to put back together. Like I said before, make sure you're just a little long over here. 1/8 of an inch maybe. And that's it. And don't forget to put the fork in. That has to go in too. And I'm ready to close it up. You just want to make sure that the seal doesn't pop out when you make the transition from right side up to upside down. Let me see. We're looking good. And that's it. I'll put the screws in. Again, line up the fork, put that pin in, and we're done. Okay. Okay, so I'll put back together. Everything shifts now. I just checked everything. It shifts nice and smooth. I'm going to put the water pump back on. Again, it's a plastic conversion pump. So somebody puts a lot of money into this motor some years back with all them new gears and below and the clutch dog and pump, the coils, the ignition coils. Everything looks good. The impeller, the plate. So I'm going to put it back on there and run the motor tomorrow. It's almost dark now here, so I'll run it tomorrow and we'll see if it pumps water. It should. Cup looks good. Everything's, there's no scores, no gouges. The plate's not gouged around where the drive shaft goes through, where sometimes the sediment grinds into the stainless. Everything's good. So let me put this back on, and I'll put this back on the motor tomorrow, and we'll see if it pumps water. Okay, here we go. Just got the put the gear case back up. I'm sure there's plenty of videos on YouTube how to put the gear case back up. There's a couple tricks. You know, I put the gear shifter in reverse, and then I pull the rod up in the lower unit, up and forward, so you have enough room to get in there and hook up your connector. You just want to make sure the bolt goes through the notch on the rod going down to the gear case. But again, there's videos on how to do that. But now I'm going to see if it's got a working water pump. You're witnessing it just as I do it myself, so we'll see. Choke out, I pumped up the fuel. We got water flow. Let's put it in gear, see if we got a gear shifter. Forward, neutral.